Hey, this is Jordan with Last Call Analytics. Today I'm going to show you how to build your custom inventory emails. These emails are used to track things like out of stocks, low stock alerts, days on hand, and different variables that we can set up using this tool. To get started, I'm in the Ontario data set. I'm going to go to the inventory drop down at the top of my screen. I'm going to go into custom email lists. Once I'm here, you can see I've got a couple emails configured. Now, if you're starting off with the dashboard, it's a new dashboard to you. The email that will be enabled in your dashboard will be this All My Products default email. You can turn this email off by clicking on the checkbox in the left corner here. For this email, it's just going to be all of your products, anything in your portfolio that are out of stock. Again, it's going to be all products for all users on your dashboard, in all stores, and for listed and forced. As you can see here, we've disabled this email. I'm going to show you today how to create your own email so you can track things like low stock, again, or days of stock. So there's two kind of different emails we can set up here. We go over to create new list. I want to give my email a name. This will be the subject of my email as it arrives in my inbox every day. So the first email I'm going to create is going to be called the low stock alert. And once I've given my email a name, I can click create. That will lead me into my configuration screen. And so here on my configuration screen, right, I've got the name of my email. I'm going to be basing this email on quantity on hand. So when do I want to get an email for my products in their stores? All of my products ship in cases of 12. So I'm going to create an email that is, I want to know when I have 12 or less units. So I'm going to say 0 to 12. Now I need to pick the users for which my email is going to be sent to. I could create an email that is just sent to myself and another user in the dashboard. So in this case, the email would be going to myself and Matt on a regular daily basis. Or if I don't want to specify individual users who should be receiving this email, I'm going to use my user type selection. So in this case, I want all of my territory managers to receive the email. Now, territory managers who are set up to receive daily inventory emails in the LCBO data, they get the email in the context of their assigned stores, while someone like an administrator, who I also want to add to this, will receive an email that is all LCBO locations, regardless of the territory that they're in. After I've chosen my users, I then move into my locations. And so we've got a couple different options here. We can base our email off location types. In the case of the LCBO, location types are the store classifications. So you could create an email that was, for your single A, double A, and triple A stores. Or, as an alternative, you have the ability to search for different location tags. Now, location tags in the dashboard contain things like all LCBO retail. Right? And if I type that in and add it, this email would be basically for every single LCBO store that is a retail location. Other things that I can configure my email by is warehouse. So if I've got product in the LCBO warehouses, I want to track that on a daily basis, have it emailed to my inbox. I can click off warehouse here, or I can search for LCBO warehouse, again in my tags. In the case of warehouse, probably want to track a little bit more than 12 units. So we see a lot of customers, figuring out how many units do they have on a pallet, entering that in, and that's their threshold. Anytime we dip below a pallet of product, send me a notification letting me know, which location, which product do I have less than a pallet left in the warehouses. So I'm going to make this email for all LCBO retail. My next step here is, by default, my email would be configured to listed and forced SKUs only. Now, in some cases, I want to track, where have I been delisted? Maybe I've got a store manager, lists my product, orders it, delists it, just to ensure that they're within their number of allocated listings in the store. So in this case, I want to include delisted products. It's not mandatory, but it is an option. Lastly is choosing the products that we want to be sent in our email. This is important, as if we don't specify a product here, it's going to tell me below the product field that if I have not selected any products, then all of my products associated with my portfolio would be sent in that email. This becomes really important for folks with seasonal products at the LCBO. the LCBO, we ingest those seasonal products, you might want to track inventory for that given product during the time that it's active at the LCBO. But we see a lot of the times after the fact, a seasonal product goes away, we still see it might have inventory data. So just important, if you want this to be really cleaned up and based on active SKUs, then I want to specify products in my product filter. So this could be, you could type in a product number. If you don't have a product number, then you can type in, the product name. And so here, okay, I want this email for Split Rail Brewing's Copper Lager. So now in the top right corner, it's told me that my list has been successfully updated. This email would basically be for everywhere where Split Rail's Copper Lager has less than 12 units or less. It would go to everyone who's a territory manager and an administrator in the platform. It's going to be for all LCBO retail stores. Again, territory managers are going to get their emails based on their assigned stores. And it's going to be for listed, enforced, and delisted locations of my specific SKU here. Again, I've got one individual SKU here. I can add more SKUs, or if I remove this product, then it would be for my entire portfolio. Now, if I click go back, the last and final step, I'm now back at my initial screen that we landed on when we built this email. And if I want to enable this email, I need to turn on the email by clicking that send email checkbox. This would ensure that the email arrives every single morning in my inbox from Last Call Analytics. So that's creating an email based on quantity on hand or setting a quantity threshold. There's a secondary option to creating your daily inventory emails, and I'm going to do that with you now. So if I go to create a new list, I can specify here, I'm going to call this one less than 5 days of inventory. Again, we click create, leads us to the configuration screen. Here though, I'm going to make one change that we didn't do last time. Instead of making my email based on quantity on hand, I'm going to base my email on days of stock. So I want to know, I want an email every single time a product of mine has less than 5 days of selling left of inventory at the store. We do a calculation on our back end. We basically take the last 4 weeks of selling at the LCBO for each product. We divide that by 28 to give us our average daily sales. We do that at every single store. And so what's going to happen here is, I want an email where I have less than 5 days of selling. So based on that average daily sales, we're going to take your quantity on hand and divide it by that average daily sales. So we can then calculate where do we have less than 5 days of stock. Some stores are higher velocity than others. So it's really key to understand, where do I have less than 5 days of stock? Hugely important if we're going into a long weekend or a holiday. You want to make sure you've got enough inventory before the last truck leaves. So I'm going to specify, where do I have 1 to 5 days left of stock? My users, I'm going to send this to all territory managers and administrators, just like my last email. I want this for all LCBO retail. I'm going to specify that here. In this case, I'm not going to include delisted products. And then lastly, I'm just going to leave all products in my portfolio. So now I click go back, and here I am at my initial screen. Here's my less than 5 days of inventory email that I just created. I'm going to click the checkbox, and that ensures that my email will go out on a daily basis. As you can see here, I've got many emails set up in my dashboard, so you're not limited to 1 or 2 emails per day. You can really set up as many as you'd like. Again, some emails might be for LCBO retail, while some others might be for different location types, such as the warehouses. Hope you found this session helpful. Have a great day.